Hi, Neverland Knights. It is Friday, April 17th, 2020. Almost the weekend, but not quite yet. We still have some things to work on in our matrix, especially math. So let's go take a look and see what we're working on in math today. Hi, Neverland Knights. This video is for both the third grade and the fourth grade for their math activity for Friday. It is a multiplication game of war using a deck of cards. Now, if you don't have a deck of cards, you can use flashcards if you have to have some of those at home. Or if you don't have those, you can cut some rectangles out of some notebook paper and write some multiplication facts on there and use those for the game. So what you do is, if you have a deck of cards, remove the jacks, kings, queens from a regular deck of cards, shuffle the cards. Players place cards face down in a pile. At the count of 3, both players flip over their first card. The first person to say the product or the multiplication answer of the two cards receives both cards and puts them in a separate pile. If both players say the answer at the same time, the cards are put in the middle of the table. The next player to win the flip gets the cards in the middle of the table in addition to the cards that were just played. The winner is the person with the most cards at the end of play or at the end of the deck. So here's kind of how this looks. I have a deck of cards here that I've already shuffled and I'm kind of just randomly split this deck of cards in half, and I'm going to put a pile there and I'm going to put a pile there. So this could be player 1, this could be player 2. What you do is you turn over a card kind of at the same time. Now, an ace counts as 1 and of course 10. So the first person to say 1 times 10 equals 10 or 10 times 1 equals 10 would get those two cards to put back on their side of play. So let's say this player here said the product, they said the equation and the product first. They're going to get those cards. Then we flip over 2 more. 10 times 5 or 5 times 10. First person to say 50 gets those cards. And maybe this time, this player won those. So you see, you keep playing, flipping over these cards. 4 times 3 or 3 times 4 is 12. Whoever says that equation sentence and then the product would get those cards. And you keep playing 9 times 5 or 5 times 9 until you run out of cards. So you can count out each pile so you'd have the exact same number of cards so that both players would be out of cards at the same time at the end. But then when you get to the end of your piles, or if you want to just have a time limit, you know, with a timer, you could do that. But when you get to the end, then each person counts up their pile of flipped over cards, and whoever has the most cards wins. I hope that makes sense. Have a fun Friday. Play some math games, play multiplication war with a deck of cards, and have a great weekend. Thanks.